Ain't no Dracos or Fofos, and you will not be saved by the COs. Sometimes it's not even safe when the doors close. Just knife play and hand-to-hand combat in a land where it's never calm at. Fake tough guys and actors sometimes get forced to put their boxers on backwards.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing right there on that intro, and if you want to get that song, it's available only on the 10-song EP on a digital download. You can get it straight from me. Cashapp, PayPal, or Zelle me $20, and I'm going to get it to you ASAP. If you're interested, hit me up on my email, 16thelifemusic@gmail.com. Now let's hop right up in the video, man. So yeah, you saw the video, man. I lost a fight this morning. Now in my whole entire 4 years of doing YouTube, some can argue now that I am guilty of doing some clickbait on this video right here, doing the YouTube thing, doing some clickbait. Some may argue that, right? But I implore you to watch the entire video, then you make your decision. But yeah, some may say, okay, chill, you guilty of clickbait, right? And so what I'm talking about is, this morning I got up and I went to work out. So real quick, last night I went to work out, maybe about 8 o'clock, worked out for about 2 hours, came home, got home, maybe about 10:15, 10:30. Then I jogged 3 miles, and then I came back, went to bed. This morning I woke up, went and got my workout out the way again. And so for the last maybe previous month or two, man, I have barely been able to walk, man. I've been having some problems with my foot. I have extremely flat feet, plantar fasciitis, and I think now I've been suffering with something known as neuropathy, where it's like you get a burning, sharp pain in your foot. And so I've been barely able to walk, been having my old man shoes on. So I'm gonna continue to eat and enjoy myself, man. And so I gained more weight than I wanted to gain, right? My cutoff was normally 187, man. I end up jumping up to like 204 pounds, you know, because man, if I have one vice, it's that sugar, man. I eat a lot of sugar, sweets, you know, Dutch Brothers, sweet drinks, the green apple smoothie, all types of stuff, man. I'll sit down and I'll eat 2 pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, Americone Dream or whatever it's called, and be looking for some more. So, you know, I love those sweets. It's hard for me to push away. You know, I sit up and drink 4 or 5 sodas back to back to back. And so at this age where I'm older and my metabolism has slowed down, I no longer can eat like that without gaining weight. You know, I went to jail 140 pounds. I could sit up and eat a whole pizza and drink 4 Cokes and wouldn't gain a pound. So, this morning, after, you know, working out late last night, jogging, I got up again to go work out. So I jogged to the park. Sometimes I'll jog to the park and do a HIIT exercise, which is an acronym for high intensity interval training, where it's like you do a lot of explosive movements and, you know, you do it continuously and you take little or no rest. I don't take any rest in those 30 minutes. So in order for me to even get to the park, I have to jog a mile. So I jog a mile to get to the park. I take one little small lap around the little track to catch my wind. Then I go right into my workout. You know, my workout consists of, I do 50 jump ropes. Then I set the jump rope down. I do 5 squats. I do 15 jumping jacks. Then I go 5 burpees. Then they have like a little, some stairs and stuff, maybe about 10 or 12 stairs. I jog up those stairs, cross the street. I alternate my feet on the curb for 30 seconds. Then I come back, jog across the street, drop down, do 10 more push-ups. Then I jog back down those steps. Then I do 10 more incline push-ups. Then I jog halfway around the track. I do some more push-ups on this little play area for the kids. And then I jog back around the track, jump up a few times on this little bench. Then I go and I repeat the process again. But I don't take any breaks. It's just continuous movement. It's no breaks, right? The only small break that I take is I got my clock going on. using my stopwatch app, and I have it set at 15 minutes, 15 seconds. So when that time expires, I'll go over there and I'll reset it. And so that's the only little small break that I take, right? And so once it got to about the second time that I reset it, which was realistically speaking, I was about at the 22, 23 mark. I realized, man, I was not going to be able to finish that workout, man. And so, because after I finished the workout, then I grab my jump rope, and then I jog home back the same mile that it took me to get over there. And so this time I wasn't able to do it. So I just picked my, I picked my little jump rope up. You see, I'm still sweating and stuff. I picked my little jump rope up and I just walked home, man. I couldn't do it, right? And so anytime I lose a workout, anytime I do not complete a workout, in my mind, I've lost a fight. I've lost that fight. And so that's the mentality that I have, right? Because, I am who I am, right? I'm a real humble individual. I'm respectful. But at the same time, in person, I'm going to meet your energy, right? If you're respectful, I'm going to give you that respect. If you're disrespectful, I'm going to match your disrespect and I'm going to go up, right? Give you 10 times what you've given me. That's just who I am. And that's something that I'm still trying to work on, right? Because at the end of the day, freedom is most important, right? But one thing that I do know, right? You cannot have a warrior's mentality and don't have the warrior's physicality to match. In other words, man, you cannot have the mind of a warrior but the body of a walrus. And so me knowing this, I like to try to stay in shape, for several different reasons. I don't like my stomach poking too far out of my shirt, man. I like to have a certain pride about myself, right? And so and then sometimes when I go to the gym, and keep in mind, I'm about to be 54 in August, right? So when I go to the gym, I still like to play basketball from time to time. Man, I get burnt up when I'm playing with these little young kids and they beat me. And I know that 20, 30 years ago, they couldn't even put air in my basketball. But due to the fact that I'm out of shape, I'm 204, 205 or whatever, I'm not the same player that I was, especially in these dudes. They still have all their athletic ability and all that type of stuff. So when we get older, weight is extremely important, man. I was locked up for 24 years, and when I came home, it seemed like I came home to funerals on top of funerals, friends, family, people passing away. And one thing I do notice is that a lot of the individuals in my age bracket, they tend to let themselves go physically, right? They was, man, listen, it's crazy, right? Doing 24 years, being gone that long, but now keep in mind, I'm born and raised in Bannon. I grew up and have been knowing a lot of these individuals my whole entire life. And then when you go to funerals and you see people, you don't even recognize them because they had gained so much weight. I'm like, damn, and it was a lot of people like that. It was only like one or two dudes who I happened to just recognize and see him. And it was a lot of people who I seen, man. I'm asking the homie, man, who was that? He say, oh man, that's such and such. I'm like, what? And I can understand, that the daily the daily going-ons in life do not always allow us to, properly take care of ourselves or whatever. But even just a little bit of walking now, every day, we have to, in my opinion, we have to put as much into our health as we put into every other areas of our life, or we won't be here, right? So to me, that's something that's important, that's something that's important, man. Trying to stay in shape. We don't necessarily have to have our high school weight, but just being able to be in shape, I think is very important. Like I say, I often see a lot of my friends, on Facebook complaining about health problems. And I definitely believe a lot of that is related to gaining too much weight, man. We have to take care of ourselves. And so that's what I mean when I say that I lost the fight, because this morning I was unable to complete the workout, which I know it has a lot to do with me working out late last night. And but still in all, I like to have that type of mentality where I can do what where I need to do, where I can be able to do what I need to do when I do need to do it. I'm not supposed to go too deep into it, but a couple of months ago, I honestly did get into a fight, and you had a disrespectful individual, and come to find out a little bit later, he was about 4 months away from being 18. I pull up to a residence, and this dude is being extremely disrespectful. to the mother of my child, right? Now, keep in mind, she's over 50. She's 4'11", 100 and something pounds. And this dude is talking about he'll do this to her, he'll beat her up, he'll slap her. You know how these kids nowadays is extremely disrespectful. These kids nowadays is extremely disrespectful. He talking about how he'll beat her up. He calling her 1,000 B words. And I just so happened to come over there on some other stuff. And this dude is talking extremely crazy. Long story short, this dude actually runs up on my car, swinging and kicking. I jump out and he went to bed. We gonna, right now I can't go all into it because they might be pressing charges on me. Who knows? I doubt it, but who knows? So I'm not going to say too much, but still in all, so you still need to, or I still need to be able to do what I feel I need to do when it's times that I have to do it. Like I say, I'm an extremely respectful person, but in the physical, I'm going to give you what you give me, right? But I cannot do that if I'm overweight, out of shape, so on and so forth, right? And even for those who don't, plan to be out there, going fisticuffs in their 50s, because that's not my plan, right? It's still, I think, extremely important that we do some type of exercise as often as we can, at least 5 times a week, man, just to stay in shape, right? Because the older you get, the more your weight becomes an issue related to some medical conditions, right? And so, man, listen, I think that's very important. I hope anybody don't feel that I have clickbaited them. But in my mind, in my mentality, the mentality that I have, when I don't finish my workout, I lost a fight. And I think that it's my mentality that actually helped me survive and get through prison, right? You had a lot of dudes in there who admitted to being guilty, but they was crying, whining, and complaining about being in jail and having a lot of time and all that. And to me, my mentality was, prison is an unfortunate circumstance or consequence of the lifestyle that we were leading out there when we gangbanging. And so if you want to lead that lifestyle, then you can't whine and cry when you experience a component of that lifestyle. When you go to jail, man, shut up, do your time like I'm doing mine. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, though, man, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.